When is the worst time to get into an argument?
I can't do it. No, that's not what you said.
What did I say? We'll show you how. I'll forget that I gotta sit up like a freak.
Don't say that. Just stop.
You ready?
Yeah.
Welcome back to Adore Your Spouse Where Marriages Get Happier. One night about 10:30 years ago, Audrey and I got into a fight. And it wasn't a big deal. It was a little argument. And then it kind of started to escalate. And then about 1:30 or 2 o'clock, we finally went to sleep and we're exhausted. And
Did we go to sleep or did one of us sleep on the couch?
I think I slept on the couch, but the point is we slept. And it wasn't resolved. And then we woke up the next morning and we didn't have hardly, we were super tired because we hadn't got enough sleep. And it didn't even solve our problem.
This isn't like one instance, I'm just saying.
Okay.
There were more times than one.
Yes. So, but the point is, there's another time later on, I'll never forget, when Audrey told me that she was feeling kind of negative and she was going to say something and she wanted to talk to me about this thing. When she wants to talk to you, right? And then she's like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm just tired. I'm just going to go to sleep. And then she wakes up in the morning and voila, the problem's resolved. No one did anything. She just simply went to sleep. And we found, as we've discussed this and studied and researched, that lots of times those problems that we're having in the evenings or late in the night aren't really problems. They're just because we're tired and we're worn out and we're kind of negative and we're blowing something up out of proportion. Now, here's the thing. If you go to solve it late at night, then if you just go to bed and don't solve it, then you wake up and it might disappear, right? But if you go to bed early, again, if you go to bed early and then wake up in the next morning and it hasn't disappeared, well, now you're refreshed and you feel great and you can actually tackle it and make a lot more progress than had you stayed up and fought.
Yes.
See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So the worst time you could ever get into an argument is after 9 o'clock at night.
Well, your emotional reserves are down, and you tend to be more negative, and you just don't, it's like you were saying, you just don't have the mental reserves to actually effectively problem solve, and that's really the problem, because, maybe you feel down and you just want to talk. But the problem with that is that when you allow that to happen late at night, usually you're talking, even if it's like something that's happening at work or something that happens with the kids, just in our case anyway, that would often turn into the blame game. And one or the other of us would just be like, well, ultimately this is really a problem because of your blah, blah, blah thing.
Especially if you're really tired and she wants to just be heard and you just want to solve the problem because you're a guy, right?
Yeah.
And the last thing, so you want to
then you're going to shut her down
because I want to go to sleep
before you listen to her.
And so I'm going to hurry and try to solve your problem
Yep.
so I can go to sleep. And then you're getting upset because I'm not listening. And it just
just take our word for it. Just don't try to have difficult, emotionally draining, any kind of discussion, whether or not it has to do with your marriage. Just don't try to have those discussions late at night.
Yeah, the sensitive ones, the hard ones. Just wait. Now, it's funny you say that, how do you say, reduce creativity and problem-solving skills? This is from helpguide.org, and their suggestions is of not getting enough sleep at night. What happens? And so this kind of applies when you're late at night and you're tired.
What applies?
What they said here, that when you don't have enough sleep, you get reduced creativity and problem-solving skills, and that's exactly what you said.
Yeah.
You're not as quick. You're not as sharp. Yeah. You can't solve the skills. They also said that you have fatigue with lethargy and lack of motivation. Your moodiness and irritable, inability to cope with stress. All these these sensitive topics create all these kind of things, and so when you're tired, it's the worst by far to handle them there.
Yeah. So just, really, I think even beyond that, the best time, so if you're going to ask the question, when's the worst time at night? When's the best time? Not just when you're refreshed, but when you've scheduled it.
Amen.
When you've said to your spouse, I got something I really need to talk to you about, and I've taken the time to think through my side of things, and could we set aside a time that we could go and be alone and talk about this thing?
But tell them, this is what I want to discuss, so they have time
You
to think
can.
about.
Sometimes maybe you couldn't, but sometimes you could.
Yeah, and when you can, do for sure. So thank you so much for watching. Our challenge this week for you is, if it's getting late and you're feeling kind of, you want to talk about something, don't. Just go to sleep and then talk about it the next day, or plan it, schedule it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel and go over to adoreYourSpouse.com, where you can take the free class, and then we have a lot of other free resources for you. And remember that you can have the happy marriage that you want.
It's totally out of control right now. Why do you always get like this? Obviously, that's not a consequence
As a
that
hypothetical example.
that matches this particular situation, right? Like, I don't know your spouse's name, but I'm just saying, you say that kind of thing in front of the kids. And I've been guilty of this plenty of times.
And it's worse if there's more kids, because there's more damage being done.
Yes.